Hello, everyone. I'm Dave TI. I'm here with Lorraine from Alternative Homesteading. Alternative Homesteading is her YouTube channel. Uh, we've all known each other for a while. She's done a few interviews. If you go back in my videos, she's been targeted since 2009. She came in the community in 2017 after research. She's being real estate mobbed, but she's got a lot more targeting going on with that. But she's going to speak about real estate mobbing, which has been going on for years. And it used to be called blockbusting. Is that right, Lorraine?
Yes, blockbusting, yes.
So what I'm going to do is turn it over to her and let her talk about it. And I think it's very important, especially for people who own their house, who may be being targeted. I know that I have a friend of mine who's they destroyed his bushes, his yard, everything. So anyway, I'm
Yeah.
gonna turn it over to Lorraine and let her speak about this. I'm glad to have you, Lorraine.
Thank you. And thank you so much, Dave and Holly, for having me again. And just for the people out there, my name is Lorraine. I live in rural Jackson County, Kentucky. I moved here from 52 Sutton Drive, Manalapan, New Jersey, a home I lived in for 30 years as original owner. And it was a beautiful home. And I was literally asset stripped more than $300,000 in property vandalism to that house, and to also reduce the price of that house by almost $100,000, and so that it could sell to one of their little copper friends. And then I moved here, and the same thing sort of happening again. But today is a Sunday, July 27, and unfortunately, I mean, I put on makeup for you guys today, and I washed my hair, and the Zoom is not picking up my image here. So it's not because I don't want you to see me. I came fully prepared for you to see me, but this is the second time this has happened with the Zoom where my photo's not coming up here. I'm sure the criminals, the powers that be, have done that. So I want to talk a little bit about what real estate property mobbing is, and isn't. So let me just get my little flyer here so that I've got it in order. Okay. So now, for the targeted people out there, this can happen to literally anyone. It could happen whether you're a targeted person or not. It could happen to a family member. Let's say your family owns a home and you're the targeted person. Maybe your parents are not. They're getting ready to retire, or they're elderly, or maybe one passes away and there's one left behind. And this is what they do. They zoom in. They target people, particularly after a divorce, when the marital couple has a home and the property gets divided up. And let's say one of them, usually the wife with the children, will get the house. In my case, I bought my ex husband out of the house. For all the people out there that have said, "Oh, you got divorced, so you could steal the house from your husband." No, we only had that house because of me, because of my real estate transactions, and I actually paid him out of the house with my money. So anyway, blockbusting. Let's start with blockbusting. In real estate, it's a discriminatory practice where agents or speculators spread fear among the homeowners to pressure them into selling their properties quickly and at a loss. The typical tactic involves convincing, now back in the day, that remember, this is the 1960s, convincing white homeowners that racial minorities were going to move into their neighborhoods. And this was supposed to scare them into selling, right? So, which would supposedly cause the property values to plummet, crime to rise, which didn't happen. But the agents, the real estate agents, the investors would zoom in, buy up all these properties on the cheap, cheap, on the low, low, then resell them at inflated prices to other minority buyers, and then profit from the panic that they created. So what happened was there was a law against blockbusting. It went into effect with the Fair Housing Act of 1968. It was part of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, and it made it illegal. This is the key: illegal to induce panic selling by implying that either people of a particular race, color, religion, national origin were moving into the neighborhood. It was illegal to use fear tactics to manipulate property values or influence the sales. It's illegal to discriminate in housing sales, rentals, or financing. So this is all illegal. The law was necessary because blockbusting created widespread racial segregation and economic exploitation. It destroyed all the communities. It deepened like the racial divides amongst people, which is what our country loves to do, you know, uh, which is bullshit. I mean, as far as I know, like I'm in my 60s, there are more interracial marriages now than there have ever been in the history of the U.S. They enriched unethical real estate professionals at the expense of vulnerable homeowners. So now, okay, so that all became illegal. That was mostly with apartments, but it did happen with homes. So now there's a new form of blockbusting. It's called real estate mobbing. And I'm just going to tell you that I received this from ChatGPT. Obviously, I could have written it myself, but this is ChatGPT, who is very well aware of what real estate mobbing is because it has been scrubbed from the internet. They don't want people to know that this is truly a thing because it is outlawed. It has been outlawed. While traditional blockbusting was illegal, this modern form, it's emerged in the form of real estate mobbing. It's covert, psychological war waged against homeowners to force them into selling. So here's how it works. And all you targeted people out there, even if you don't own homes, these tactics are being used against you, even in your apartments. It's being used against your family members who own property, and it's being used against your fellow targeted people across the United States on varying levels. So this is how it works. One, harassment and intimidation. Neighbors, local officials, or hired perpetrators, like Infraguard, the Inhumane Terrain Team, private contractors, they harass homeowners daily. The tactics include noise disturbances, vandalism, trespassing, or spreading rumors to create unbearable living conditions. And I'll give you an explanation because this is part of a testimony too. The noise disturbances, every time somebody drives by, somebody will honk a horn, fume me, rev up the engines, screech tires along the county road. My vandalism is off the charts. My YouTube channel documents the vandalism. Trespassing, off the charts. A bomb was exploded on my property on July 20th at 12:04 a.m. during my live stream that everybody in the live heard, recorded. I did end up filing a complaint with the Attorney General and the Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division. And I named everybody, including all the local officials. They spread rumors to create unbearable living situations. So in my case, and you guys rescue cats. So you got to get the spayed and neutered so they don't have more kitties. Well, they leave pregnant cats on my property. And then the local vet is spread a slanderous rumor and lie about me to not take me as a client, which leaves me with a bunch of cats that are procreating on my property. It's costing me a fortune. It's taking up so much more of my time. And when I move from here, they will not be coming with me. So they can keep dumping animals on my property. I have to take care of myself. I will take care of all the animals they dump here until the day I leave, and then I will be leaving without them. Because they have created a horrific situation where I cannot even get these animals spayed and neutered. I can't even get them, I don't believe in the rabies vaccine, but I can't even do that. The veterinarian says she won't give me an appointment. She's hung up on me 11 times. She says because I'm not friends with her friends. Her name is Dr. Rebecca Caleb Wilson, the Anvil Veterinary Clinic in Anvil, Kentucky. I've already filed a complaint with the Veterinary Board and the Better Business Bureau. And I talk about it online because it's true. It's not defamation if it's true. And plus, I've posted the recordings of my conversation with her denying me service. So here she is. She's a vet in the Kentucky denying service to a homeowner who has Kentucky cats being dumped on my property. And then they do the same thing with my lawn and landscapers. They go behind my back, pay the lawn guy, landscaper to one, destroy my property and then to not show up. And they did this with Tyler Allen and his father, Fred Allen. And then a guy named, let's see, what's his name here? McIntosh. One second. They just did it. This guy, McIntosh. Ben and Kevin McIntosh, father and son. So these are father and sons. And what he did was really atrocious. And for all you guys out there that believe in karma, could you imagine telling somebody that you've worked for like a month or so that you can't work for them that day because your sister got into a fatal car accident? She was in the car with her husband. His brother was in the back seat. She left behind 2 children. He says, you probably saw me crying. No, I didn't see you crying. There's not a tear in your eye duct. There's not even a little bit of moisture. But he went through this entire skit show and then left, and then I never heard from him again. I find out he doesn't even have a sister.
Wow.
Imagine, he does not have a sister. Imagine the karma that he has now brought upon his family. One of his family members is going to die now. He does not have a sister. He probably got paid and bribed under the table, in addition to taking money from me. And for the record, on the record, I paid him $340 for one cut and $165 for another.
Do you think he's part of it behind the scenes?
Behind the scene, absolutely. Maybe he wasn't in the beginning. But this is what they do. They follow them out of my house. They get the license plate number. The local perpetrators get the license plate. And then they go to the county lawyer. The county lawyer calls all these people into town, sign non-disclosure agreements, paid a little money, go to my neighbor down the block. They get paid over there. I've witnessed this, I don't know, 4 times so far. 4 times. So, yeah, so they harass, intimidate, they spread rumors, creating unbearable living conditions. And imagine living on 64 acres and not being able to get the grass cut.
Right. And this, from what I'm looking at right now on my phone, it is hard to prove too. I mean, even if you got proof, the steps it's telling you to take here, contact law enforcement. Well, they're compromised.
They're part of it. They're all part of it.
They're yeah.
They falsify all the incident reports.
Wow.
Yeah, so the next tactic is spreading fear and misinformation. So they've got the whisper campaigns. They spread lies about rising crime, declining property values, undesirable buyers coming to the area. Some perpetrators may actually pose as real estate agents and falsely claim that the property is in illegal trouble or that it will be seized soon. Like, my piece of crap here, county lawyer Ross Murray, the little piece of crap. I'll tell him to his face, and I've told him to his face. I've written to him that he is a liar. He's a pathological liar. He had the audacity to trespass my property in 2020 with my neighbor, Mary, quite contrary, trespassing my property and then threatening me with eminent domain. In 2020, this piece of crap. And then I heard from another person, a tree guy, that said, oh, yeah, he's involved in stealing property from people because he's also a real estate agent or he's got some background in real estate, right? And yes, talk about conflict of interest. He advertises his real estate business at the same address and phone number as his county lawyer location. Conflict of
Wow.
interest. But when you're in a rural area, you could get away with all kinds of crime.
Now it says you can sue your neighbor for harassment.
Well, you actually can if you can prove it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, man.
It has to be repetitive. I have enough evidence on my neighbors. It's off
That's
the
what I'm
chart.
saying. You've got plenty of evidence.
Oh, I've got so much. It's ridiculous.
You'd have to go out of town to find a lawyer, though, probably.
If I can get a lawyer. So at this point, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to file my complaints and give their names to everybody I file a complaint with, and let them complain about it. They
So
want to
what?
participate in harassing me, suffer the consequences. You fucked, I'm sorry, excuse me, with the wrong woman. Okay, so what they do is then they sabotage and they use financial pressure. They vandalize the property to make it look neglected. They want to scare off buyers. They want to lower the property value. And that's exactly what they're doing here. They've torn down 3 greenhouses, killed off most of my berries, my shrubs. They poured rock and weeds in every raised garden bed. They've killed my animals, poisoned my animals, burned holes in my chicken coop, dented the roof of my chicken coop. This is all recorded, by the way. They have poisoned my grass. They do it regularly because they know, these criminals, they know I'm moving this year. No ifs, ands, or buts. I'm moving this year. I will be selling, but I won't be selling it low, low, low like I did in New Jersey. No, no, no. I've been through that rodeo. I know what this property is worth. I know that it can be divided off. And they're trying to create flooding conditions on my property by rerouting water. I have evidence proof of this. They have literally damaged and moved a legal land survey property marker, which is a felony. They
Wow.
have fake erosion the walls that are supporting the stream behind my house, all recorded.
Hmm.
I reported it to the insurance company who are complicit. And I said, well, we don't cover rocks. I'm not asking you to cover rocks. It specifically says you cover vandalism.
Right. Wow.
And this is vandalism. They purposely took photos of it. The guy was like 6'5", took photos of it looking down rather than underneath, so you can't even see that it was even damaged. I hate this insurance company, but right now I don't have a choice. And hopefully it'll be the last year I have to use these losers. So what they do is they file fake coding violations or environmental complaints to increase financial burdens. Like my neighbor here, Mary, quite contrary, called the fire department on me twice. Once was for burning trash in my burn pit, which is not a violation. In Kentucky, you are permitted to burn trash in your own property. And meanwhile, my burn pit is literally acres and acres away from her front door. But she called anyway. And then she did it when I was cleaning the county ditches because there was debris in there. And I had done it every year from the time I moved here. She calls the fire department. And those are the same ditches that I couldn't clean the following year. So what they did is they came and they used some kind of a backhoe or something, a ditch digger, and dug so down low that now I have standing water. They've disturbed the tree roots, the rock. It's hard. I have videos of this. So yeah, so this is what they did. They used delays, legal red tape, and mysterious buyers who never closed the deal to wear down the homeowner. They did this in New Jersey, by the way.
Wow.
Yes, they did it to me in New Jersey. Oh, I could see the faces. And what they did in New Jersey was there was somebody that wanted my house. They went behind my back and told the buyer who saw my house twice that somebody else was buying the house. They ended up buying another house. They
Wow.
closed all my real estate agents except one.
We
Every
admire the fact that you're doing this alone. And I
Yeah,
mean, it must take you a lot of strength knowing your own property alone. They're doing all that stuff, man. It takes a lot of strength to deal with that.
it's David. It is so stressful. It's horrible. It's depressing because I spent so much time and money to make this property look beautiful. And I fortunately have videos on my channel of what the property looked like in 2020, 21, 22. When I listed my property for sale, and this is a fact, they took my listing and used it as a bucket list to damage all of the home improvements I made. They literally went down the list and destroyed everything. All of my new water catchments destroyed. They sliced my vinyl siding on my house,
Mm,
punctured a hole in it. They tore down 3 to 6, I don't remember now, of my new motion sensor security lights. They have destroyed 6 of my security cameras. 6. They drilled a hole, 3 holes in my new chicken coop. They
mm,
burned holes in the chicken coop. They burned Illuminati eyes, those all-seeing eyes in the chicken coop, inside the coop.
wow.
They pour dirt in it, like literally every day, like this pithy dust. I have videos of this. They filthy both of the chicken coops every day. Every night somebody's in there, to the point where my chickens won't perch on their perches anymore. They go in the eave of the of one of the chicken coops. That's not normal behavior for them. They've
That'd be
gone into
good if you could
all.
find somebody that could watch the property for you, but I guess trusting them as a TI would be hard.
It's very difficult, very very difficult. They get co-opted, they get mind controlled.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of people here, and literally every person that has worked here started off okay, but then got co-opted to steal or damage from my property while they're working for me.
Mm,
While I'm paying them, they're also getting paid by these perpetrators, my neighbors and the county lawyer. So they're double dipping. And one of them actually stole, while he was working here, my driver's license.
mm.
That's right. He's a drug addict. He's an addict. He did so many nasty stuff here. He and his mother worked here.
Now, and when they were starting off, when you would hire somebody and they would be good at first, did they ever catch anybody red-handed, run them off, or
No, nothing like that. But
oh,
they would sometimes mention that people were driving back and forth. People were stopping behind them, like as they were driving away. They're getting to scanning their license plates. Every person I've ever had here, I've got some loser, some fusion center loser or neighbor, the gift card whores, like the gift card whore who was trespassing my property, screaming at me. One of my most popular videos is, I don't know how you earn your living, but we work hard for ours. Yeah, I know, honey, you work hard for yours. You work hard. You
hmm,
work hard for your little gift cards. Yeah, you work real hard for your gift cards. So they use delays, legal red tape, mysterious buyers. Then there's the isolation, emotional manipulation. This happens to all targeted people. So a lot of what I'm mentioning here happens to all targeted people. It can also happen to you in your apartment. They could force you out of apartment to increase the rent, force you out of the apartment, and then turn around and say that you did some damage to it to withhold your security deposit. So I'm just speaking from a real estate perspective, because when you own real estate, you pay property taxes, you have to maintain it. It is a very high valued item. It's not like paying rent. And I know that some of you guys are paying rent that's off the charts. But nevertheless, you can leave there. You don't have to worry about, for the most part, paying property taxes. You don't have to pay for that. Most homeowners have paying property taxes. And in New Jersey, I was paying $9,000 in property taxes. Now,
Wow.
yes, now that same house is going for $1 million, and the property taxes have just increased $2,000 to $17,000. My former residence in Manalapan, New Jersey.
Wow.
So we're not talking about small change here. This is huge asset stripping. Huge. So with the isolation and emotional manipulation, this happens to all targeted people. They turn neighbors against the owner. They cut off community support. There's psychological manipulation. There are anonymous threats, constant surveillance, fake friendships designed to feed false information. So with regard to that, anonymous threats, I have reported this loser. I don't know who it was. It could be the Gorilla Boy, could be his alias. I was receiving very threatening text messages for about 2 weeks. Emails, text messages, phone calls from 3 or 4 different phone numbers. I reported them all to the FCC. I've got 5 reports to the FCC at this point. Let me scroll down here. The psychological manipulation, threats, constant surveillance, fake friendships. They have exploded, detonated a bomb or a flash grenade on my property during my live stream, July 20th, 2025, 12:04 a.m. And it was the day before my birthday. And they love to target me on my birthday for stupid garbage. But fortunately, I've got some really good subscribers that took all of those videos and found the man crouching down in the back of my house. We
Yep.
discovered that there were 2 perpetrators on the county road, one moving away and one moving away in the left and one moving away to the right. They also
Now, was it a loud noise when it happened?
very loud. It was so loud and so bright, it illuminated my entire property. And everyone in the live chat heard it. There were people listening to the live. They weren't in the live chat that emailed me, check your cameras, check your cameras, check your cameras, get your cameras. So while I'm in the live chat, I'm downloading videos from my cameras, uploading them, and my subscribers are picking them apart, slowing them down, increasing them, and posting them to their own channels and stuff. So I've got more evidence, and I sent it all to the Department of Justice and the Attorney General, and I'm going to keep going. I've got a lot more reports to file because this is another one of their threats to force me to leave my property. I'm sorry, guys. Just for the people that are listening, the criminals, I won't be leaving until my house sells, and I'm going to get what I want for it. Because if I don't get what I want for it, this county is going to be paying me for all the property damage that you guys have done. And yeah, I have no problem saying all their names because they've all received cease and desist letters, like Chris Bowles, who lives up the block, who stole my gate, refuses to give it back. My gate was vandalized. I couldn't lift it, so I hired this guy, Chris Bowles, Bowles. I actually hired him and his daughter to clean out a building. They actually witnessed the next day that the Freemasons were here and burned Illuminati eyes all over the wood. And it wasn't there when they cleaned out the building. Witnesses to that. But they stole my gate, refused to give it back, then tell me that the law told them they can't return my gate. My gate was going to be evidence in my case against my neighbors. So they were tampering with evidence. And I'm going to speculate that the law that told him that he couldn't return my gate was the county lawyer. I'm just speculating. This is for educational purposes only. I don't know if it's true or not, but it could be true because that guy's already threatened me with eminent domain in 2020. And this is a fact. All of the emails that between he and I and his secretaries magically disappeared from my laptop. Poof, gone.
Wow.
All of them disappeared. Along with my 41 FOIA requests after I filed a complaint against this lawyer with the former attorney general. They took down my Muckrock account, which should be illegal. It should be illegal to remove public FOIA requests. But that's what happened here in Jackson County, Kentucky. So then they want to push a desperate sale. And that's what they do because after years and months of harassment, the owner becomes exhausted and desperate. And then suddenly a lowball offer comes in from a quote unquote a mysterious buyer, often connected to the very people orchestrating the mobbing. And that's what happened at 52 Sutton Drive, Manalapan, New Jersey, a home I lived in for 30 years as original owner after they asset stripped me $300,000 in property vandalism to a home that I renovated myself top to bottom. So the little copper friend comes in and buys it at $100,000 less, and then he gets his little copper, what do you call it, interest rate that only if you're a copper gets. I think it was like 2% his interest rate. And then I say to this little copper that stole my house from me, just remember this when you're walking in and out of those 5 bedrooms. I slept in every one of those bedrooms with every guy that I ever dated. I want to put it out there. Yeah. Remember when I was divorced, I got real busy dating. And you little copper guys, my energy, my 30 years of energy, my Reiki energy, my healing circles, my astrology is infused in that house, including every guy I ever dated and slept with. Boom! There you go. That's your karma for stealing my house away from me. So, anyway, just a little X rated stuff. So, now why is this done? They do it for profit. They want to force a distressed sale and flip the property for a huge profit. Let me tell you, I have 64 acres of land. It's gorgeous. It's wooded. I have forageables here, herbs, wildlife, hunting for those people that are into hunting. I'm not. I feed the deer, I feed the raccoons, I just feed everybody. But for the people out there that want to live in the middle of nowhere, have gorgeous land, I have land across the street on this side, and the back of my property butts off the state of Kentucky that will never be used for anything. So you will never have neighbors in the back of my property. Never.
Right.
And there's water. Of course, we've got the county creek that nobody takes care of except me. But when people are looking for off the grid situations, what do they look for? They want to be self sustaining. They want to know that they can heat their homes with wood. Check mark. They want to know that they'll have water. Check mark. I've got water everywhere. I've got so much water that people around here steal it from me. They steal it. How do I know I've got water here? I'll always have water here because the astrology of this location is that it will be always self-sustaining with water and wildlife and forageables. I won't get into why it is, but all you have to do is look up in the sky where I live and you can see why. So then there's gentrification. They want to push out long-term residents and replace them with wealthier newcomers. Well, that's not the case here. They may want to put a wealthier person here. Like maybe they want a mayor to live here. Maybe they want, a politician to live here because it is a beautiful property. This is the kind of property that can easily be divided, can easily be used for multiple generation families because you can build so many different places on this property. And if I had the money and if I had another person living with me, I would definitely build 2 other houses here. I mean, it's really beautiful. I'm 6 miles from town. There's no ordinances. You can have animals here. You can forage. You can garden here. If you're not a targeted person, like I said, they tore down 3 of my greenhouses. They destroyed all my garden beds. They destroyed my driveway that I installed by planting. Literally, it looks like a carpet of grass down my driveway. I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm not going to do anything about it. When I was selling 52 Sutton Drive, I spent so much money, and then I would fix everything that they did to my house, but it still sold for less than I wanted to. So I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it look nice. But no, I'm not going to be doing all these repairs and all this stuff. I'm not going to be putting any more money into it. I'm going to get exactly what I want for it. And they could do whatever they want because at some point they're going to be paying me back. And now it says here, why? Corruption in power. It involves local officials, like the county lawyer, the judge, Judge Gabbard here, the magistrate, my criminal neighbors, the fusion center operatives that are located in these houses, or
Now, is
powerful.
this house on a back road, way on a country road?
Well, the county road runs in front of my house and literally in front of everybody's house because it's the only way to get out of here is this county road.
Right.
There's no other way out. So yeah, so all of the houses here either have a side road that goes into the county road, and like my property is like opposite the county road. Some of my property is opposite the county road. Most of my property is all the way in the back. It's back in the woods. So most of my property you can't even see it. So the where I live though, you can see all the little buildings that the former owner built, and I'm going to say the former owner's name because in his name, I wanted to keep his memory alive in this property. I even installed a property sign, Travis Sparks Way, across the street, and I created a memorial page on Facebook, Travis Sparks Memorial, because these local criminals used him. They were trying to steal from him when he was alive, and they thought that after he passed away, the new homeowner would be a pushover. They're all corrupt. And it says here that real estate mobbing is hard to prove because the perpetrators hide behind plausible deniability. Well, that's just not the truth here. It's easy to prove here. They give themselves away. And it says that the laws against blockbusting don't explicitly cover this kind of psychological warfare or coordinated harassment, creating a legal gray area. But I'm going to tell you that there was a couple that this happened to. It's all over the internet. It made the news, which is why they were able to file lawsuits against every perpetrator. I'm not there yet. I really just want to get the hell out of here. But if for some reason I'm stuck here, I will be doing that because my neighbors owe me more than $600. Chris Bowles, he owes me money for stuff that he's stolen on my property. I'm going to hold him accountable. And all the other neighbors, like the Scarlet down the block, she's more involved in poop. She likes to drop poopy diapers in front of my mailbox, trash on my property. I sent her husband to drop poopy toilet paper over my gate, also at 12 o'clock in the morning, caught on my cameras. She likes to call me to the county road to ask me to duke it out with her on the county road. That's scarlet marks. They've received cease and desist letter, and so did my neighbors next door, and so did Chris.
Wow.
This is all documented, and all of those cease and desist letters are now in the hands of the Department of Justice and the Attorney General. So all of these people around here, they gotta stop what they're doing. I don't care what they signed and who they signed it with. They are warring against the wrong person. And Ross Murray, you too. I've already reported you, little effer. You're not getting my property, and you too will be getting a letter soon. But my printer's broken. Miraculously, my printer won't print. So, ChatGPT says, would you like me to dive deeper into how to fight back against real estate mobbing? Let's expose it and fight back. So yeah, ChatGPT, this is what we do. You document everything, build your evidence arsenal, surveillance cameras, install visible security cameras around your home. Motion activated cameras with night vision are ideal. Use trail cameras hidden in trees or bushes to catch anyone sneaking around unnoticed. Well, they have taken down so many of mine because this is organized crime. These are not just little people trying to real estate mob somebody, trying to steal something. This is an organized crime network involved with politicians, the county lawyer, the sheriff's department, the magistrate, the judge. These are people that are supposed to be protecting homeowners. But instead, they are warring against me. And I have no problem speaking out against these losers. None whatsoever. Because I do keep a detailed log of the incidents, date, times, and description, who was involved. I do record the noise disturbances and post the videos online. The vandalism, the suspicious behavior with my phone and security system. Got it all. Collect witness statements. Well, that is most difficult, except that that explosion was recorded on my live stream.
Wow.
And after this, I'll send you what it looked like. I should have done it before. If you find broken fences, trash gardens, tampered utilities, take photos and videos. Collect anonymous letters, notes, or strange items left on your property and store them in sealed bags to preserve fingerprints. Well, how about the double-sided dildo that was stuffed in my mailbox recently? You
Wow.
heard
I'm looking here. It says last week, and that was May 15th, Sheriff Isaacs discussed mailbox vandalism case. I was just looking, I've been looking to see if I could find anything that might be of help to you.
no, and you know what? And this is what they do. I have reported vandalism and now all online. And I mentioned this in my live stream last night.
They're trying to act like it's a bunch of cases.
Exactly.
Yeah, I noticed that.
They did this in New Jersey when I filed a complaint with the Attorney General about when the Manalapan, New Jersey Police Department and Tina Booth from Monmouth PESS kidnapped me, broke into my house without a warrant, refused to leave, recorded on their body cam footage, refused to give me the body cam, never reported this to the police blotter, barged into my house, and then they wanted to bill me. I received, I don't remember if it was $3,000, $6,000 in bills just for them removing me from my house. They wanted my DNA. They wanted me removed from the house so they could steal my evidence, discredit me. And I was home within 6 hours of that little stunt that they created for me. But what they did is they attempted to bill my Medicare, which is fraud.
Wow.
So I wrote to the Attorney General about the Manalapan Police Department committing Medicaid and Medicare fraud.
Hmm.
So then what happened? Just a couple of months later, Attorney General, who's not there anymore, he decided to go move to the stock exchange or whatever. He left his job. And that's what they all do. Just like Daniel Cameron, the Attorney General that I contacted last year, he's gone. Now we've got a new Attorney General. We'll see what he does. So then they announce, oh, there's a big bust of Medicare, Medicaid fraud in the state of New Jersey. We cracked the little cartel or whatever. And it's like, oh no, 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 that's a crock of bullshit. Because I filed a complaint and now you have to kind of like back up. You have to make it appear to the community that you're doing something good about this fraud that's taken place. But it involved the Manalapan Police Department and Tina Booth and the Central State Hospital that actually built it, attempted to. This is not an isolated incident. This happens across the country. It's happening everywhere. It's happening across the country. And so then what Daniel Isaacs does, he's got to publish that, oh yeah, there've been a lot of mailboxes broken into, and I'm not doubting. These are crimes that take place across the country. In fact, people have caught them on their Ring cameras, people stealing boxes from their porches and stuff. So it truly is happening. But it was never reported in all the years that I've lived here, all the years that I've had mail stolen. I had a dildo placed in my mailbox. In November, a skinned dead animal was stuffed in my mailbox, and the animal who was gutted, the innards were all over my driveway.
Wow. That's sick.
It's very sick.
Is that squirrel you sent the picture of?
Not a squirrel. No, this must have been a cow or a deer. It was a huge animal.
Oh.
Because the liver was huge.
Hmm.
And I'm not a hunter. I don't eat meat. So I couldn't tell you what it is, but it looked like it could have been a cow. It was that big. I mean, although a big deer could be pretty big too, but no, this looked like a cow.
Wow.
Looked like the innards of a cow or something. But I think the police officer that did remove it, I think he said it was a deer.
Wow.
I mean, local people would, hunters would know better than myself. So ChatGPT says, gather your physical evidence, expose it, shine a light on the darkness, public awareness. And that's what I'm doing here with you, David and Holly. And I so appreciate this public awareness. Post
No
about
problem.
Yes.
I wish we had more questions for you, but I'm just dumbfounded. I'm just sitting there I've been researching the whole time trying to figure out some answers. Like, who
Well,
do you go to? The police is compromised and in on it. That's just,
yes, they're all in on it. But do you have any idea?
but there's got to be an answer. There's an answer to everything.
Yes. They're trying to steal my property. And even if they delete me, my property is bequeathed to my daughter and other people. And they're trying to delete me here. You should see my legs. I've got bruises. I've got bruises all over my arms and legs. I photograph every day. I've been posting them on my community page on my post. So ChatGPT says public awareness is really important. Consider making a YouTube video or blog post detailing what's happening, which I've done. Use hashtags like hashtag real estate mobbing, hashtag property sabotage, hashtag expose the corrupt to spread awareness. Involve the local media. Reach out to local journalists or news stations. They love covering stories about injustice. I've been trying to do that, and I'm being sabotaged here because my media is hacked. They're preventing my contacting these people, including lawyers. Provide a timeline of events and any footage you've captured. Well, I just sent that to the Department of Justice. Thank you very much. Create a paper trail. Send certified letters to local officials and law enforcement detailing the harassment. Well, I have done that every year since I'm here. 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I have sent letters, 2 letters. One is property vandalism, and the other is items stolen and the value. So in 2024, Daniel Isaacs received the letter. I sent it to his email, sent it regular mail, that more than $7,000 of items have been stolen from inside my house, mostly new items, including an iPad, a new wallet, my two new hunting vests, my Chromebook that I didn't even finish setting up yet. I mean, off the charts. I was missing $200. Food went missing. Small items, earphones went missing. Um, what do you call it? Binoculars. A pair of binoculars went
Are
missing.
they coming in when you leave, or when you're out doing your animals, or?
Yes, when I go into the go take care of my animals, they're in and out of my house. You know how I know? I mean, you know how I do videos, and when I'm doing them in my house, I usually have a photo of like a little mini art on my laptop, and that's what you're looking at. You're looking at like at a cat or a fox or flowers or whatever during all of my videos. So in my last video, I uploaded it, took the little image that I was using, and put it away. Go into the cat's building, come back, and these losers, these criminals, went in my house, took one of my little pieces of artwork, and stuck it on my laptop where the photo that I videotaped with, that I put away, was. They switched it up. So they came into my house, took one of my mini arts, and stuck it on my laptop to show me that they were here.
Wow.
They're in my house every day. That's why they call them the inhumane terrain team. Infraguard, operatives, they're in and out of my house every day. In and out of the cat's building every day. They've harmed the eyes of 6 of my kittens, resulting in 3 deaths.
Wow.
3 healthy kittens
I wonder
died.
if you could get them little bitty things. They're about the size of a dime, and they're cameras, and you can hide them. You know, they're like you could charge them up and hide them, and they only last so long. Then you go get them and look at the footage.
You know, I don't know. Maybe you can send me the details of that.
Be interested to catch them red-handed. I mean, I know
So,
you've caught them red-handed through evidence. I'm just saying, like
yeah,
just see who they're facing, man. Because it's sad, like they're doing it to more than just you, but you know, you're just one person, a woman out in the country by
yes,
yourself,
yes,
trying to take care of animals and
yes,
take care of nature, like nature loves
yeah.
nature, people to do for nature.
They
And you
take
just want to be
photos
left alone. They ain't got nothing better to do than to cause havoc every which way you turn.
every
That's
which
sad.
way. They know that when I move, it will be their last hurrah. I'm sure they'll follow me wherever I go, but they will not be able to get away with even half of what they get away with here. They will
Do you
not be
think
able to.
if the wrong person buys your, well, I'm not gonna answer that question, am I?
Yeah, I think I know what you were going to say.
Yeah, never mind.
Let me just continue here. I think that if the right person buys my property, they're going to be fine. So Chach says, use the legal tools, turn the law in your favor, file police reports, even if they don't do anything. Chat's saying to file police reports, report every act of vandalism, trespassing, harassment, insist on getting a case number, and keep track of all communications. Well, this Sheriff Daniel Isaacs, his office, or Ross Murray, who has been known to change incident reports, which he should not be doing. They falsely report everything that happens here. Falsely reported. So I will not be filing any more police reports. Not here. Not. Whatever continues to happen here, I will be filing with the Attorney General and higher ups. I will not be going around any legal person here until they get my last certified letters, which when my printer is up and working again, they're all going to be getting certified letters. So restraining orders, if you can identify specific perpetrators, you may be able to get a restraining order. I was not able to get a restraining order against my neighbors, even though my neighbor John was caught on camera wearing a black ski mask in May, tearing down my newly installed gate on my legally surveyed land. I could not get a restraining order against that creep.
Wow.
Consult an attorney. Find a lawyer who specializes in property law or harassment cases. They can help you file complaints with housing authorities or take legal action against neighbors engaging in harassment. Contact state or federal authorities. So this is where I'm at. I'm no longer going to be contacting anybody local here. Contact
Yeah, I know
state.
like 4 different other targets going through the same thing.
You do.
Different ways. One person they're doing, he inherited his house and the neighbors hitting him with V2K, telling him he better sell and all that. He's in Fort Myers.
Yeah. Well, I went through this rodeo in New Jersey. It took me 3 years to sell that beautiful house. During those 3 years, I had to spend all that money on property taxes, all that money on renovations and re-renovating it. I lost all that money. I lost all that time. They killed so many of my cats. But I still got out of there, moved here. The same stuff is happening. I know what the MO is. That's why I'm on it, and I'm going to be filing complaints higher up. And if I've got to file with Pam Bondi, that'll be the next thing I do. I'll take all of my complaints and send them to her office. It goes
Yeah.
on to say, if local officials are ignoring the problem, now you're going to laugh at this one, okay? Don't laugh too hard. If local officials are ignoring the problem, escalate the issue to state housing agencies or even the FBI if there's organized harassment or corruption.
Wow.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna listen.
Well, I've already reported this stuff to the FBI, but I did not report the most recent bomb explosion on the property. I will be filing that complaint. So now sabotage, their sabotage, protect the sale. And this is something I should have done, but I didn't. Pre-inspect your property. Hire an independent inspector before listing your property. Identify and fix any issues that might be used against you. Create a paper trail proving that your house was in good condition before any future vandalism. Well, that I've got photos of all of that. I've got all the before and after photos. Use trusted agents only. Work with reputable real estate agents who understand the situation and won't be easily influenced by local gossip. If necessary, hire an out-of-town agent to avoid local biases. Sell discreetly. Consider selling off-market, known as a pocket listing, to avoid drawing attention to the sale. Use online platforms that don't require public signage or MLS listings. And that is my next MO. I will be taking my house off of the MLS soon because I've got to sell this property. Boost your property image, post positive videos and photos of your property online to counter the negative rumors, highlight its features, the beauty of the land, the peaceful environment to attract buyers directly. Protect your energy, don't let them break you. ChatGPT's got a little fist here. It says spiritual protection. If you're spiritually inclined, cleanse your space with sage, incense, or salt barriers around your property. Well, I did that. I went along the county road and I spread salt on all their witchcraft. Practice visualization or prayer to maintain inner peace. Set emotional boundaries. Narcissists thrive on getting your negative reaction. Don't give them the satisfaction. Stay calm, stay focused, and document quietly. Let your evidence do the talking. And this is for all targeted people out there. Stay calm, stay focused, document quietly, let your evidence do the targeting. Reach out to trusted neighbors, friends, and local community groups like here. Like I trust David and Holly wholeheartedly. I so appreciate getting the message out there because when people hear these tactics, they're going to say, well, wait a minute, that sounds familiar. That happened to me. That happened to my parents. That happened to my grandparents.
Right.
Amen. Yeah.
And this is happening. And I hate to use the word elderly because I don't feel like like my mother was not even elderly. It's 83. Like maybe my grandmother was an elderly when she was 93 or 96 when she finally passed away. But I feel like I'm still middle aged even though I'm in my 60s. So they like to target people like us. Why? Because we have lived and accumulated wealth and they want to steal it from us.
Yep.
Most 20-year-olds, although there are some 20-year-olds out there that have accumulated wealth through the stock market and through YouTube, their YouTube channels and stuff like that. But it's taken years and years to buy and sell real estate, flip properties, earn an income. I inherited some money when my mother passed away. What did I do with the money? I bought equipment to use on this property, and I paid people to help me clean out all these buildings. I allegedly increased the value of this property by installing 3 greenhouses that they took down. And I have videos of before and after. Turn the tables, use their tactics against them. Record conversations. In many states, you're allowed to record conversations if you're part of them. Catch them admitting to harassment or making shady deals. I wish I would have recorded. I really wish I would have recorded my landscaper telling me that his sister died in a car crash when it was whole. What a lie. What a lie. Pretend that you're giving up and spread news that you're selling for cheap. Once they make their move, expose them publicly with their evidence that you've gathered. Sue them for damages. Once you've collected enough evidence, sue them for harassment, property damage, and the loss of value due to their interference. Like the local judge here, I can absolutely prove that they destroyed the ditch line on my property and the property marker. And even if you don't win, the lawsuit itself puts public pressure on them and it creates a public record for investigators. And that is even more important. That's why even when that group filed the lawsuit and didn't win or got dismissed or whatever, it still is a public record. And that's the key, is you need to create a public record. And this is why I post videos. And this is why I am glad that they decided to explode this device during my live stream. I'm not the only one that heard it. And not only did everybody in the live stream hear it, but it is posted in my live stream. So everybody who re-listens to my live stream will hear that boom and see all.
Did you ever go back towards that area and see if you could find any residue?
I did, but I didn't do it the next day. I did it, unfortunately, the day after. There was nothing there.
Oh.
Now, one of my sleuthy subscribers said, Lorraine, that was not detonated from the county road. There were people on the county road watching it happen. I've got a video that she expanded and slowed down, and she said, what happened came from the sky. And I could prove it. And there's one image that I have where you can see the directed energy coming from the sky to my property.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yes. The only thing that I did find on the county road was an empty box of Marlboro Reds, a Marlboro Red cigarette butt, an empty water bottle, and
That's DNA.
huge tire tracks, huge tire tracks of surveillance along that side. Huge.
Cigarette butts DNA.
And you know what? I took it and I was walking along County Road. I must have dropped it because I was collecting all kinds of stuff. I had my phone in one hand and trash in my little wagon, and it dropped. But it doesn't matter. Like, I've collected so many of those butts and stuff.
Right.
And I did save, of course, the double-headed dildo that was stuffed in my mailbox, which is disgusting. So let me see what else I've got here. A chat says, stay vigilant, stay organized, stay strong. You deserve to live in peace. And the truth is your greatest weapon. If you want help drafting letters to officials, crafting a social media post, or putting together a case timeline, just say the word, I've got your back. And ChatGPT does have my back because I did create a media post and letters to all my local officials that when my printer gets going, everybody will be receiving certified letters here.
Now, do you got to pay for Chat GPT?
Well, no, you don't have to. You have to pay for extra stuff. Like if you want to write a book through ChatGPT, you really need to pay for that.
I'm saying, will Chat GPT write you up a cease and desist letter for free if you got a printer?
Yes. Through ChatGPT, I was able, and of course, I altered, a lot of stuff. With Jessica Thomaston.
Yeah.
I will tell you. Let me just pull this up here, and I have something else to read about real estate mobbing that's a shorter. But I was able to write that petition through ChatGPT, write an affidavit on her behalf, my recommendation letter on her behalf, an EMF validation letter on her behalf, a letter against institutionalization to have her released, and then another letter.
Well, yeah, me and Holly sent one of them things in. We never heard nothing back. Was we supposed to?
You probably weren't going to hear anything back, but
Okay.
that
Because
judge
you
was.
remember we sent you copies of ours.
You did, yes.
And it's not working?
Nope.
Hmm.
Nope. Her lawyer says that this judge is not budging, that he ended up getting his own in house psychiatric determination on Jessica and lied about the whole thing. And they refused to offer any other evidence into her case. She's being tortured there. It's horrendous. For anybody that wants information, you could email me, email David, or email me privately about Jessica Thomaston, PhD. If you've got any other, contacts in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. If you live in Alabama and can pay this woman a visit, she's got a PhD. She's being targeted, I believe. Well, she's there because her mother ratted her out for installing EMF shielding in her bedroom. It was her mother that called the EMS to come and get her, and they refused to let her out. They're experimenting on her. But with regard to this real estate mobbing, this is one other. I think that I got this from Grok. Real estate mobbing, sometimes called property mobbing, is a form of harassment where individuals or groups intentionally target residents, tenants, or property owners to force them out of their homes. The goal is usually tied to real estate speculation or development, where the harassers want to acquire the property, often at a lower price, then flip it, redevelop it, or profit from its increased value. It's a shady tactic that exploits people's attachment to their homes and their legal rights to stay there. Now, I'm just going to add that when you own land, you have mineral rights also. You've
I
got
bet there's
mineral rights.
I bet there's a lot of ginseng up in them woods.
I'm not going to say anything, but there are morel mushrooms. There's all kinds of mushrooms, forageables. Like you can literally eat off of the land here. So that's why I say that for people who want to live on or off the grid, this is an ideal location. And the property taxes are totally dirt cheap. If you're 65 or older, like me, and you own 10 acres of land or more, you're pretty much exonerated from paying property taxes. So I don't pay property taxes here anymore. But when I did, they were only $650. 650, not 6,500. $650 for property taxes for 64 acres of land. So these methods can vary widely, but they involve persistent, coordinated efforts to make life unbearable for the target. Think constant noise like banging on walls, blasting music at odd hours, vandalism, stalking, using technology like drones, checkmark, audio devices to invade privacy, disrupt the peace. In some cases, it's as blatant as moving mobbers into the neighboring properties to amplify the pressure. And that's what they've done here. They have mobbers here, and they had mobbers that live next door at 52 Sutton Drive in Alvin. It's a technique tied to historical blockbusting practices where speculators would push residents out to turn over a neighborhood. And in other times, it's subtler, like spreading rumors to isolate the target socially or filing nuisance complaints to wear them down legally. It isn't just a random annoyance. It's illegal, potentially falling under harassment, stalking for tortious interference laws. And it depends on how it's carried out. For instance, if a third party messes with a tenant landlord contract to force somebody out, that is a legally line that is crossed. In places in the US, it might be a misdemeanor or a felony, depending on the severity. And internationally, groups like Amnesty International have flagged it as a human rights issue tied to forced evictions. And it tends to pop up in very hot real estate markets or in cities or neighborhoods where there is an investor interest is spiking. It's sort of like Elon Musk just bought up some real estate in rural Tennessee. I think he has like some turbines there, like wind turbines or something like that. And this property would be perfect for something like that. Perfect. Think of a tight-knit urban areas where houses are more close together, or spots where developers see a chance to replace the older homes with a pricier build. Victims might be renters vulnerable to losing their lease or owners who can't keep tenants due to the chaos driving them to sell cheap. So, what's the flip side? Some argue that it's exaggerated, misidentified, maybe just aggressive neighbors or a personal grudge mistaken for a grand conspiracy. But when you see the patterns, like it's happening year after year after year, if you photograph the before and after, and you start seeing properties being quickly flipped after a residents flee, it's hard to dismiss the profit motive. It's a dirty game. It's blending old school intimidation with modern tools, all to pry homes from people who'd rather stay put. And I'm going to say it for the record on my channel. Deborah Florian has now 11 videos on my channel. It's called The West Virginia Horror Story. This was a highly intelligent and successful woman who moved to West Virginia. She had money in the bank, bought originally her home for $245,000. They did the same thing to her, forced her to sell it for like a quarter of the price, like 50,000 bucks. They forced her from home to home to home. Sheriff was involved. Local investors were involved in pushing her out of every one of her properties. It is a dirty, disgusting game that's taking place all over this country a lot in rural areas like Jackson County, Kentucky, where all these people, they got their little greedy hands in the pot, where you got a sheriff with a personal stake in it. This sheriff, who was a deputy, he was literally trespassing my property with his horses. He moved his horses into my property while it was under contract, while the former owner had passed away. Trespassing, totally rutting and digging up my outer fields with all these horses. Anybody that's owned horses know what horses do to a land. And was still trespassing when I moved here, and then quietly moves the horses out. Not even a notice given. Didn't pay me anything for the use of my property. He was a deputy then, now he's a sheriff. With a huge conflict of interest. Not because of my property, but it could be, but because the perpetrators down the block, you know, the poopynurse.com, the one who likes to throw the poopy diapers, her stepdaughter has a bunch of kiddos with the sheriff, and they're not even married. But I guess that's what young people do these days. They just like have babies and don't marry anymore. Like when we had babies back in the day, you got married. You put a ring on it. You know, like Beyonce said, put a ring on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going on here. But those poopy diapers were dropped at my mailbox by Scarlet Marks. That's
Wow.
right. And when I reported it, nothing happened because there's a conflict of interest here. The perpetrators are distantly related to the sheriff.
Wow. That explains a lot.
Oh, but it's not just them. I have a neighbor diagonally across the street whose husband is a cousin of the sheriff. And then, of course, the stepdaughter's mother is a perpetrator against my property. How do I know? I guess I'm just some stupid person from New Jersey that doesn't know the difference between an owl call and a stupid Freemason witch giving owl calls across my property. Yeah, that's what they do here in Jackson County, Kentucky. You've got the Eastern Star bitches, the witches. They like to trespass your property and put their little, they're nesting. It's called nesting, where the witches, they like to gather up all these little debris, pieces of debris, and post them in one section of your property and then perform their ritual. It's called nesting. So they'll use like a rusty nail, a screw, some branches, some twigs, and they'll have them strategically placed. And then they will circle around your property with pieces of wood, twigs, branches, literally almost every day. And they could do it by hand, or they could do it with their directed energy weapons. They could literally, from a distance, target a tree and say, hey, tree, I see that branch there. I'm going to hit that branch and it's going to fall right there. And they could go around my entire property at night from the county road and hit branch, this tree, I'm going to hit this tree, hit that tree, that branch will fall down, that branch will fall down. And you've got a whistleblower or somebody that you know that's spoken out on your channel about the glyphosate that's being spread on his grass.
Yep.
I won't say his name, but I have the testimonies from him also and photos. Exactly what they do to his grass, they do to mine. We don't live in the same state. I'm not a former military person, so why is it happening to him and to me and to so many other people? We have the same photos. We're not even remotely related. How do we have the same pink hue bald spots on our grass when all the rest of the grass is healthy. It's real estate mobbing, it's property mobbing, it's a form of harassment. And it's a form of asset stripping because there is no greater value to an individual than investing in real estate. This is how a lot of people create their wealth, is in real estate, buying and selling real estate. I mean, that's why real estate agents make so much money, right? They
Yeah,
get a,
because they can flip it.
they flip it. And real estate agents are intimately linked because they will buy a distressed property, um, renovate it, and flip it. And I've done this in the past. You know, I bought and sold real estate, flipped it, and made money that way. That's how I was able to buy my house at 52 Sutton Drive, Manalapan, New Jersey. That's how I was able to buy this property for cash and don't have a mortgage. It's not that I did anything so spectacular. People are doing it every day. And that's what real estate mobbing is about. And if it's not happening to you as a targeted person, it could be happening to your mother, your father, your grandparents, somebody
Right.
you know. And it's horrible. It's a horrible form of asset stripping, forcing people out. For predators, that's how I see them. They're predators. So I don't know, you know, if you have any questions about this as it pertains to other forms of targeting.
We got about 10 minutes, but no, I'm just dumbfounded. Like you know, I was been looking researching the whole time you've been talking. Like I can't find nothing. I mean, you covered everything as far as help. I was just trying to figure out how you could get some help or some justice. But
It's so
the
hard.
fact that the fact that you got land though, I really think somebody's going to come along who who wants to grow and self-sustain on that land, and you're going to get what you want for it. And me and Holly's been praying. You're on the prayer list, so
Thank you.
I think some
And
prepper's going to come by and buy the land for what you want for it.
it is valuable land, in more ways than one. And for a prepper, for somebody that wants this lifestyle, there are cities and states and towns around the country where you can grow your own and have stuff. But the one thing about this area, positive and negative, there are no restrictions for what you can do here. There are some places where you can only have this animal. You can have any animal you want here. You want cows? Get your cows. You want horses? Bring your horses. You want pigs, goats, chickens? Uh, bring your animals here. To the best of my knowledge, there are no ordinances here for any of that. You can build, garden, do whatever you want here. And again, it's pluses and minuses because there are no ordinances and zoning laws here. That means that the neighbors get away with doing things that they would not be able to do when I lived in New Jersey. There's no way that they'd be able to detonate a bomb in Manalapan, New Jersey, without the entire neighborhood knowing about it.
Right.
You're in New Jersey, you would not be able to allow dogs to run loose. There are very strict laws about it. But here, they get away with doing whatever they want because they're special. You know, they're related to the sheriff. They're getting paid under the table. They make deals with the county lawyer. And for the people out there, if you have filed any public FOIA requests, like with Muck Rock, I'm just going to tell you flat out, Muck Rock is in bed with the intel agencies because they will not allow you to FOIA request anything on quote unquote gang stalking or directed energy weapons.
Wow.
Yep. So anyway, I thank you so much. I mean, this.
No,
I'm
thank you,
still,
because people need to, you know, people need to know, and I'm sure there's going to be some people like, man, that's going on with me, and even people who watch the channel who aren't targeted. Uh,
yeah.
I really think it's going to hit home for a lot of people. And
Yes.
like you said, they did this to my mother. They did this to my cousin.
Yes. I'll tell you some of the things that they start to do. So in case you notice it in your house. Okay. So what they'll do is, uh, they will go to the outside of your house and make a little cut. It'll turn out of nowhere. They'll do a little cut here, a little cut here. If you have, if you live in a stone house, like with brick, they'll go into the grout and start picking at the grout little by little. If you have an asphalt driveway, they will create little cuts in the driveway to create a bigger cut. And as they're creating the little cuts, they will plant seeds in all of those little cuts to create a root system under it so that it cracks the driveway.
Wow.
They will, yes, they will go with their witchcraft and go around all of your trees and plants and post these Y branches into the tree. They're literally trying to unalive the tree with their rituals by stuffing stuff around the tree. They will poison the tree. They will slice the tree to cause ulcers in the tree. They will use a propane torch on your grass or your trees. So you'll see your grass brown out either from a poison called glyphosate, which is Roundup. They replaced water with antifreeze when I first moved here. They have harmed the eyes of those kittens, my cats. I believe one of my cats was kicked. They use directed energy weapons on your pets. If I hang my clothes out on the laundry line, when I bring them in, they'll have holes in them. I purchased new panties just like last month or whatever, and they decided they're going to slice one of them. They come into your house and switch up your clothing. Clothing that was brand new, they'll switch up with a different size. With a real estate mobbing also, they'll go on the outside of your house. If you've got lawn furniture, they will start scratching your lawn furniture to make it look older. If you've got glass lawn furniture, they will totally scratch it. If you've got lawn chair like cushions, they'll slice your lawn chair cushions, but they'll do it a little at a time. They'll do the corners, they'll do the middle until it falls apart. On my wood deck, I have triangle symbols and scratches and X's etched all over it. I mean, it'll be fine if I get a little sander on it, spruce it up and stuff. But this is what they do. They want to make whatever it is that you own that's new or look nice to make it look old and uncared for. That's their goal. Because they're telling everybody in the community that you're crazy. They're telling everybody in the community that you don't pay people. They're telling people in the community that you're a bad person, that you're X, you're Y, you're a criminal record. So if you've got a perfect property, if it's gorgeous, that does not fit the narrative of a crazy person, does it?
Mm-mm.
It doesn't fit the narrative of somebody who's invested right now for me about close to $300,000 in this property. It doesn't fit that narrative of all the people I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars paying to cut this grass. So that's what they do. So if you believe that you're a victim of this real estate property mobbing, literally go around your house, look at your wood floors, get yourself a black light, because they spread poisons in your house that you can only see under a black light. You'll see the smart dust in your house under the black light. You'll see it mostly in your bathrooms. You'll see it on objects. They'll also they've done it here. They'll throw a stink bomb into the entrance of your house, like when I'm not here, And then when I walk in, it smells putrid.
Wow. Huh.
That's what we do.
Well, I hope this video helps people understand what's going on. It's just sad that, you know, if authorities are involved and stuff, it kind of limits what you can do. But like she said, I would follow her advice. She knows about it. She's been going through it. I would document, keep collecting evidence and find
Yeah.
other routes. Don't never give up.
Yes. Yeah, don't ever give up. And there is that couple I was going to say is they documented every time people would drive by their home, somebody would honk the horn, buses, law enforcement and stuff. Well, they put cameras up everywhere and took every one of those people to court and sued them. And it
Wow.
got public attention. The videos are still up there. The news grabbed it. And that's my goal, is to get somebody who's willing to discuss property mobbing and bring it to the news. I contacted Redacted months ago. I did not hear back from them. They
Yeah.
might not have never received my email.
Yeah. Yeah. Because didn't you send us an email the other day? You said we never received it.
Yes, yes. There are a lot of people that haven't received emails. There's actually a subscriber who has actually sent my story from her email address to get me interviewed and hasn't heard back yet. I mean, she's a targeted person too. But
Wow.
this is what's happening here. They're really covering it up big time. And this is why I so appreciate your uploading this video. And I apologize for the comment about the glyphosate. I mean, I would just remove that.
Oh
little
yeah,
thing.
I'm getting better at taking stuff out, so it won't take that
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, and then it actually is a public lawsuit, and the guy won. He won. He's like the first person to win the lawsuit against Monsanto.
Wow. I'm gonna look up that stuff that was sprayed on our friend's property. See if I can't
Yeah,
find what it is, because I bet you can find, if you find, there's certain keywords you could punch in to find the color of it.
yeah. It has a pinkish hue, a
Mm-hmm.
little bit, a little pinkish.
Well, I hate to cut you short, but you know, we
Yeah,
got stuff to do
I
too.
appreciate it.
So,
Yes, yes. Thank you,
but
and thank you.
Matt, but we really thank you for coming out and all you do to expose us too, because I know it's not easy being targeted, trying to expose stuff, especially on top of being mobbed and all the stuff you got going on, trying to take care of animals.
It's
We really
horrible.
admire your resilience and strength.
What
Um,
that's all. That's my mother always said. My daughter always said she said, "Mom, it's not like you to give into peer pressure." And my mother says, like Lorraine, she always said, "Don't get mad, get even." And my mother was like a pillar of strength until they
right.
deleted her.
And
So
just know you're on our prayer list too. We're praying
I
that
so
with your
appreciate it.
request you sent, we're praying about that.
Thank you.
And I
Yes,
really think it will happen.
yes. I need a buyer. I need to get out of here. These people are nuts. Oh, and on another topic, like when we end this, I want to tell you something that's going on in Kentucky.
Okay. I'm finna stop the recording right now.
Okay.
Thank you for coming out,
Thank
and
you. Thank you so much, David.
no problem.